Good morning or good evening, Gemini. It's great to see all of you. Hope you're doing well. Today's a really amazing show because what came to me before I started was the title, and I kind of know the main topic and focus, which is helping many of you see the power of manifestation. And a lot of times we see luck as this sort of like elusive carrot on a string that other people have, but we don't, or that may be just out of reach. But today I'm going to show you how you can really connect with opportunity, with all that sort of luck and energy, and bring it into your life. And I'm not sure why I'm out of focus, but there we go. So yes, we're going to be focusing on luck, and we're going to be looking at the shamrock as your totem because that's all I could see this morning, and we'll take it from there. This little furry guy is Apollo. He's still halfway in dreamland, so I'm going to put him back down so we can chat. Thanks, buddy. And let's begin. So, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Let me go ahead and pull up the sort of graphics so you know what we're going to be doing. This is your monthly reading. During the monthly reading, we take a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks, and basically we get ready for opportunities in each and every sign of the zodiac. The other interesting thing is because I channel information, if you ever just need some guidance, you can also tune into any sign and you'll get some information, particularly at the very beginning here. So, I read the comments and some of you say you want me to shorten the intro. So you can see the format here. I will say this, that I start with some channeled information from source and then we get into the cards. So I'll just break down each section as I get into it. And that way we can basically get straight into the channel messages at the beginning. All right, so while I'm getting set up here and getting my presentation ready, if you want to chat live, you can do so by hitting the subscribe button. It's also obviously a way to support the channel and stay in touch. If you want to join me on social media as well, that's a great way to keep in touch and know when I'm doing new videos. And remember, I don't offer private readings. I don't send direct messages. That's always a good safety tip. You can also show support here in real time by using SuperStickers, SuperChat, and membership. There's even a gifting membership option as well. You have to opt into that, but that's one more way to support both me and others. All right, so let's go ahead now and take a look at today's messages. So while I was getting up this morning, walking the dog, getting everything ready, all I could kind of keep seeing in my eye was like this shamrock clover. And what my guides kept kind of blasting into my head was like different mantras. You know, you make your luck, you can change your luck, you are your luck. And it's sort of like it was just you, source, and changing of basically what's going on in your life. But there's some ownership and some accountability that also comes with that. And as we look at the cards here, in just a few moments, we'll have a chance to connect with that even more powerfully. All right, so let's go ahead now and look at the first message here. So traditionally, the shamrock was used as a metaphor for the Holy Trinity. More sort of like broadly speaking, taking it out of a sort of religious connotation, we can just see it as connection to source. Also even kind of like pointing towards source and energy from above. So I chose the sun here to kind of be our symbol for source energy, and also solar plexus power. So if you're feeling a little depleted, the message from Spirit that came through for me is take a look at what you're plugging into. This would be the social environments that you're connecting with, your friends, your any extracurricular activities or volunteer work that you're doing. What is that feeling like for you? What are you getting back? Is it fulfilling or is it depleting? Also, if you're looking at someone in your life and they're driving you a little crazy, it could be a friend, it could be a boss, family member, etc., someone in your close sort of social sphere, and there's just been a lot of presence in your mind. This is a potential block for your ability to manifest because they're stepping in, and maybe there could be fear of you being able to leapfrog to the next part of the journey, and they're wondering like, well, what happens to me? Or there could be jealousy, or they could just be a final test to help you see it's actually not about that. The power and the struggle and all of that stuff is actually coming from within. And so in this moment, you could just think, I am a powerful agent of change. I can do this, I can transform this, I can move past this. Leapfrog. If I were to pick a secondary totem today, I probably would do the frog because of the ability to take the energy from the shamrock and basically skip over a whole chapter that you don't need. So it's like basically anticipating the tower and avoiding the tower. That's why we do these readings. It's not just so that I can talk. It's so that we can all make the best possible use of the next month to month and a half, okay? So reset your boundaries and your energetic commitments. That last bullet right here is the most important one. Reset boundaries. If someone is constantly encroaching on your boundaries, trying to get you to do more, etc., or you're not respecting their boundaries, they constantly keep putting a big no, blinking red light up, and it's just sort of like you keep trying to get them to change or listen to you. Why? This is a chance for you to focus on doors that are open, currents that are flowing, not the sort of blocked energy. So reset your boundaries, listen to others, and energetic commitments are important. So if you're not getting something back, including, trying to text someone or call someone and see if they want to, meet up. If there's no engagement on the sort of initial ask, or people are just ignoring you outright, this is universe saying you can do better. You're in a different energy space than they are. They're not connecting. It's sort of like when you travel to another country and you got to get that plug adapter, because otherwise the currency isn't going to go through. And sometimes even when you do that, it fries the circuitry. So you can't always communicate with some people or connect with some groups or experiences. So you've got to find something that is the right fit. But you are also the source, so you can make opportunities. You don't need that gatekeeper. We've talked a lot about the sort of modern version of the Hierophant card, where basically it should just be you holding the key. We don't need that gatekeeper anymore, okay? You're the source. That's why I put the sun here. Power dynamics may play a big part in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Many of you may be feeling that sort of activation in your core, doing things like yoga, Pilates, and anything that you can do to strengthen the core would also be beneficial in helping you hold and channel that energy a little bit more. You create your luck. Everybody here has the potential to be lucky if they are ready to be lucky. So I don't believe in traditional luck per se. I think some people are natural manifestors, and we then ascribe the word or put the word upon them that is called like lucky. So they're just kind of like unaware of how they're doing it, but they're doing it. We can all be luckier by simply believing in our potential, recognizing an opportunity and a manifestation when it opens up, and either having the sort of trust in our own ability, or just sort of like, I guess, the strength or the courage to jump through that door. Because we're always manifesting. Sometimes we manifest a challenge. So some of us are just not aware that we are creating difficult situations. So this is a chance to open the door to a less difficult situation and say to yourself, I'm ready for you have to release the old lesson, the old person, the old challenge, and just say, thank you for teaching me. I don't need this lesson anymore. I'm ready for an upgrade. I'm ready for something that is easier, that is more fulfilling, that is more in alignment with my path. I don't need to have this challenge or lesson anymore. So it's like class dismissed, teacher dismissed. Let's call in something bigger, better, brighter. So the preparation piece is a part of this, but once you are prepared and once you are aware, then you have this high priestess energy, and you're realizing like the things aren't happening to me, they're happening for me. So this person came up to challenge me so that I could see that I was limiting myself by being here, or that I was not setting proper boundaries, or I didn't believe in my power. So then they had more power, and they're coming in and driving me a little nuts here, but I don't need that anymore. Or this job that's stressing me out so much. Why do I continue to sort of like show up and allow this, and this to happen? I'm going to set better boundaries so I have more energy at the end of the day. Or I'm going to work on this, and this to open up a new path so I don't have to plug into this environment. There's another way to get resources. There's choices, and you're going to choose different energetic paths over the course of this month. The next piece here, it's basically that you are capable of, deserving of, and hopefully are setting yourself up for a change in fortune. You have to change your mind first. Change your mind, you can change your fortune. This totem that we've been talking about, the shamrock, is basically an abundance magnet. If you've ever seen a clover field, you just see all these bees sort of like buzzing around, and it's beautiful and it's fragrant. I could have put the lovers here, but I think it's really important for us to see like this changing energy. So it's both the lovers and the Wheel of Fortune I would put on this final slide here. So say to yourself, my luck is changing and I'm an agent of my own fortune. I'm ready to change my luck, to change my life. I can do this. I will do this. So when I used to do private readings, which I don't do anymore, I often would get people saying, I have the worst luck. And I would think to myself, don't say those words. Or they would say, I have bad luck with men or women or jobs or money. And I thought that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You could observe something and say, I've had difficulty this year with this, but I'm changing my ways or I'm exploring new avenues. That's a more powerful way to frame up the narrative. So let's say today that you're really focusing on changing your path, changing your energy. We're going to look at the cards here in just a moment to help you do exactly that. So the next portion of this reading is going to be the Celtic Cross. And basically, I allow that to take on whatever shape or form it needs to. We are going to focus a little bit on manifestation and luck. But once we do that, we'll expand it to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Okay? So today is all about empowerment. And it is about understanding that not only do you have the power, but you're going to do this. We're going to make it very affirmative. And what I'm going to do today is kind of help you see how you can do it. Okay, and we're not doing that just yet. We're doing the Celtic Cross. All right, so give me a chance to grab the deck. I think I want to use something nature-oriented, so I'm probably going to just jump into selecting a deck for us, and we're going to use the Wild Unknown for today, and just allow for that to help us out. Okay. Sometimes I have a very clear vision on what I want to do, and for your sign today, I even know which deck I want to start with. So, all right, let's go ahead and shuffle things up here. Welcome, everybody. How are you doing today? Hopefully, you're ready to make some big changes in your life. There we go with that Hierophant, my favorite version of that card, because it shows that you hold the key. So far you have just like the most gorgeous spread that one could ask for. A little bit of indecision that we'll be working with. Pretty good. Pretty amazing actually so far. So. And then we have the frog, which I talked about, the leapfrog. Nice synchronicity. All right, let's get started, everyone. Okay, we're going to begin with the powerful, almost like High Priestess White Witch here. It says, be the light. And it's kind of interesting because when it comes to magic, I just believe that you bring whatever you want to it. So same thing with intuitive work. You are what you're sort of like your magic or your energy or your work represents who you are. So this is just basically encouraging you to go into the brightest, lightest, highest frequency because just like the High Priestess, which I was using in the slides earlier, your thoughts are manifesting. And I can't remember which sign I've done. We've only done a few, but one of them I was talking about thoughts being tidal. I think it might have been Taurus. And what I meant by tidal is like the moon or the sun that sort of pulls at the energy of the ocean tides, or even, interestingly enough, the planet a little bit. So when you look at it from afar, it's almost like it's a little bit more egg-shaped than round because of the two forces pulling on it. So your thoughts, your Also, your envisioning that you do, you sort of like anything where you're trying to picture yourself somewhere else, you start to kind of pull at these, push and pull at opportunities. So when you say to yourself, I am ready, I am deserving, I am strong, you start to pull in people that recognize that support that. When you say to yourself, I am not lucky, or I am not capable of doing this, or this never happens for me, all these cool things that have been kind of getting ready to come into your energy, they start to go further out in orbit. They become Pluto instead of Mercury. We want to pull them much, much closer and not push them out into the outer reaches of your own solar system. So start to think to yourself, I'm ready to see a change. I'm deserving of that change. And I'm ready to let go of these other things that are coming through, because we can absolutely do that with people, places, and things in our lives. When we are no longer enjoying them, we can start to conjure up, to manifest, to envision, and then also bring it in. So in this really beautiful card here, we see an Ace of Pentacles behind the owl. We see a butterfly behind her ear. We see all of the abundance that you would normally see on a not on a High Priestess, but on a King or Queen of Pentacles card. And then we see the wisdom here. You've done the work in this lifetime and others with that owl to be able to connect to what's powerful and what's possible. So you just have to trust it. The card did come through in the reverse state, and whenever I see one of the most powerful cards like the High Priestess or like this White Witch card in reverse, it's saying I'm somehow disconnecting from my magic. I'm not believing in what's possible, or I'm seeing something but I haven't yet accepted it. So really it's about belief, acceptance, and changing the mental frequency to try to focus on the possibilities, not on the blocks. The blocks are there to redirect you, not to reinforce something. And sometimes that's what happens. We focus on the fact that I can't get through, they're not listening, or this isn't working. And there does come a point where certain blocks are meant to permanently block us and redirect us. And the minute you release, something opens up very quickly for you. And you think to yourself, why did it take so long? Why did I wait so long? Why was I struggling so much with this? And only you can answer that. I had a really difficult experience once in my life with just someone that I had to engage with on a work sort of basis. And I had a teacher that just reminded me that a lot of the problems stemmed from the fact that they were in my thought process. So, if you were to kind of take a look at auric fields, when I was going through this, there probably would have just been a lot of their energy stuck like a barnacle. And the more I thought about it, the more I kind of kept that energy there. So I would say the biggest piece of advice I can give you when it comes to a persistent thought about someone or something that isn't working is let it go. Let it go and see what you can replace with it, what else is kind of opening up around you, because clearly that isn't helpful and that isn't going to help you manifest. Let's focus on the cards now and see how you can start to do this. So smack dab at the center, we have the Strength card, one of the best cards we could pull in the center. It's saying that whatever you're trying to do, you have the capacity to do it. That focus that we were talking about on the solar plexus is going to be important here. I love how this Strength card doesn't show the sort of, what's the best word for it? The domination that you would normally see in a traditional Strength card, where one figure is opening up or dominating over the energy of the animal. Here we just see whomever you want to kind of, you ostensibly represented here as being powerful and not having to prove it and not having to struggle anymore. So just so that for those of you that may not be able to see it in your head, I'll pull up a traditional Strength card. Normally we have a woman and there's some sort of an animal, usually like a lion, and she's opening up their mouth. The idea here is to be careful because, when I was in corporate environments and work in general, there was a phrase like managing up, which would be maybe if you had an incompetent manager or someone around you that's supposed to be doing something, you would just think, well, I can take control of this. But sometimes you don't have the authority, and what happens if you keep doing this is sometimes that jaw clamps down on you. So I would say, here we go. Here's a Strength card. So this is the traditional one. It's also a lot of work. Like when you're trying to tame some sort of wild beast, it's a lot of work, and you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Do I have to keep doing this? How much do I want to invest in this? Why can't I just be the tiger, be the lion, be the sort of strength within here? And the answer is you always have that lion or lioness energy within you. And we also see like this peaceful line. they're holding the rose appears on a few cards in the Major Arcana, but chiefly on the Death card. So this is showing an internal transformation, at least the way I'm interpreting it, where you have gone through this sort of feeling of I can't do this, or someone else holds the keys. You've decided to take the key to your own power, your own destiny, and just say, I am ready, I am the one, I'm going to do this. So let go of the tug of wars. It might be your mom, historically, that you've had this with. Like I said, it could be a boss, it could be a sibling, might be someone really close like that, where you're trying to prove yourself or trying to kind of like break free. And this is saying that's a waste of time and energy. Just do what you need to do and be the agent. Don't wait for someone else to give you permission to kind of do that. And ultimately, this is there's no gendering in this card. So anyone and everyone at any age is capable of kind of making that change or that movement happen. All right. So you have what it takes. The Cliff's Notes version of everything that I just said is that you have what it takes to make this happen. All right. So we have a very unique sort of Eight of Wands here. This one almost reminds me of when you're trying to start a fire, right? Manually. And we kind of see, or we could even see sort of like lightning striking. And we have the table set or the sort of stage set to allow for this to happen. So first things first here, you are kind of like the conductor, but there may be a lot of other moving pieces, as there often is with the Eight of Wands. You can find yourself in the center of a larger production, a larger sort of process. And what we see with these two center cards is making sure that your voice, your vision, and your belief in yourself is strong, and then setting all of that in action. Sorry, it's an upright card, just like a conductor would. And also saying like, what is it that you want to focus on? What is it that other people should be focusing on? And really making that clear. You don't have to do this alone. The question is, do you want to ask for help, or do you want to try to organize the sort of effort that's going to be required to make something happen? But Eight of Wands always carries with it people in the periphery, but they're not featured typically in the card. There are a few decks like the Little Prince deck, and I think maybe, the Wild Wood deck actually features, like, you can see everything that's set up kind of like this, like a picnic that's ready to happen or something, but we don't always see the people. Long story short, there are people that make things happen, and you don't have to do it all on your own. So if you were to trace it up in the kind of like hierarchy of wands, the Seven of Wands, you've already learned the lesson that I can work hard and I can do all of this, but I don't necessarily need to do this all the time. And so by the time you get there, you realize you're part of a team. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, but you can kind of ebb and flow a little bit so it's not all on your shoulders. Some of you are overdue to make that leap. And let's just pull the camera down and look at what a nice little synchronicity we have here, because this is stepping out on your own. And we have this cute little baby chick here in the Fool card. And now we have, where was it? I know I saw the leapfrog. Yeah. We see the frog spirit here, renewal. And again, I saw the rose from death here as well. So we see that you've changed, and this change is going to bring about the ability to leapfrog into something new. And that's what the Fool is here. The Fool is saying, maybe there was an open door before, and you looked at it and you thought, but it can't be for me, or it happened too soon, or this is the first thing that I stumbled upon. How could this be what it was that I was looking for? Whatever it is, it looks like you'd manifested something, or something presented itself to you and said, hey, I see you. You're deserving and ready for this energy. Let's do it. And you just paused. So if there was a pause and you didn't kind of leapfrog or jump the way you needed to, there's going to be a reopening of that energy, or you're going to decide to kind of break through and try it again. So second chance, or a second go at something that you missed or wish that you had embraced a little bit more. This is also saying that you are no fool. The card in reverse is saying you are wiser now. And in this lifetime, we get to have sort of symbolic, and I actually feel like a stab in my solar plexus as I'm talking about this. So this one's hitting home for some of you. But what I was going to say is, every lifetime we get a clean slate, we reincarnate, we have this sort of amnesia, and we don't always remember everything that we're capable of. But as adults, we get to have the rebirth with the knowledge. So we go through the Fool stage several times. We're not meant to just simply go through the major arcana once. We keep repeating and refreshing that cycle until the Fool is a very wise fool. And that's what I get here, is that you are no fool, but you are starting something from the beginning. But for any of you that have had to restart something that failed, let's say constructing a house, rewriting a book, creating something from scratch, but you have all the knowledge here, it's faster the second time. You already know what can go wrong. You already know what you're trying to do. You know which materials are going to work and which won't. You know who to kind of connect to. And so as a result, the manifestation is more effective. A lot of times it's more concise, and I would say the construction is more concise, and you're just able to do it better. You just kind of like, it's amazing. Sometimes if you fail or miss something the first time, and people only see the perfected version of it, it's almost a blessing in disguise, because they didn't have to see all the messy work. And all they're seeing is this version of you, or this version of the product, or this cycle. So this time around, see it as the successful version, the splash that you've been wanting to make, and take all of the learnings and all of the experiences and apply it to this moment, right here, right now. And it may be a pain. I know it is sometimes, actually. I think back to when I was in graduate school, and we didn't have the mediums that we were working with. Like, we had portable drives that failed a lot. So if you were working on like a project and you were editing it, a lot of times you had to have backups, because the types of mediums that we were using, like jazz drives and zip drives and things of that nature, they would fail. So sometimes you would be set back a day. Sometimes it was a week, and I had friends that would just lose their whole project sometimes. But my professor at the time gave us some feedback. He said, just take what you've got. And he said, it's going to be better this time because of everything that I just said. And you just make it work. So I always kind of approach things as, well, this is my chance to sort of like streamline it even a little bit more. It's a pain. It's a pain to sit there and reassemble it. But sometimes in that process, you see something that you didn't see before. So just embrace this as the universe saying, give it one more shot. I've got your back. I'll help you. I'll lift you up. And there's no choice but to sort of like dig right in and see what you can do. It's like cleaning up the house. You just have to start. Otherwise, it just keeps getting dustier and dustier, right? All right. We have the Daughter, or the Page of Wands, in reverse. What's cool about this one, though, is we see the cyclical energy that's playing in a lot of these cards. We see the infinity symbol, right? So with this one in reverse, it's saying, I'm going to keep an open mind. Pages both kind of receive and also deliver information. So this one's saying, I'm open to receiving something that I wasn't sort of like wanting to focus on, et cetera, et cetera. It could be constructive criticism. It could just be, I'm open to be inspired. So I'm going to go out, read a book, watch a movie, walk in the world, and see what's out there. So open up your mind to the potential. And notice that it is all about growth. You just have to sort of like point it in the right direction, stay open. This is also saying, do I have a clear vision of what I want? Because if I am not clear, if I do not believe, if I do not understand what it is that I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to inspire others to do, how is this ever going to be possible? I have to get very, very crystal clear on this. So do some research, ask some questions. Think it through and think, is this what I want? Is this how I feel, etc. The other thing is, this can be sort of like a channeling symbol here as well. So just as this morning, all I got was like, change your luck. That's basically what kept popping into my head. You're the source, change your luck, make this happen. And I was like, well, it's going to be very concise and clear as I step here and talk to Gemini this morning. So I was grateful for that. You might be channeling a persistent thought. It could be coming through in your dreams. It could just be something as you're sitting there and trying to work and trying to focus on something else. The universe just keeps blasting it into your third eye or into your mind, so that it's like, that's all I can focus on. So absolutely focus on something like that if it's coming through. Your top card this is my favorite, bar none, my favorite Hierophant card, because what it shows is a paradigm shift. You are the gatekeeper. You are the person that holds the key. not someone else, even if traditionally they were. And the card is reversed, which is saying, not only do I have the capacity to do this myself, but the fact that I'm doing it differently or approaching it from another angle is what's going to make it work. You need the right key. You also need to hold the key in the right direction. I mean, I'm sure all of us have tried to do that. We put it in upside down or we're using the wrong key. So keep trying. This is a skeleton key, but keep trying until you can open the door. But for some of us, it's saying flip the approach, flip the sequence around a little bit. If we just keep rinsing and repeating the same procedure, we never grow. And if something hasn't been working, it's just going to keep not working, and we get frustrated. It's sort of, again, that the batteries start to wear down a little bit. So by changing the approach and changing the method a bit, not only might something open up, but we're also kind of learning and expanding, and it's a lot more fun. So a change of environment, of how you've been doing something, can not only just do you good in your heart and your soul, but it might actually be the solution that you were looking for. If there's anyone in your life that only wants you to do it one way, they're very traditional, then you're going to have to find a different avenue for this to happen. Again, you might have to sort of assert your ability to be the gatekeeper or be self-employed or champion this sort of effort, or you need to find someone else who can help them see it from a different perspective. Because I see someone that's stubborn and just unable or unready to kind of see it from your perspective. The other thing here, though, is simply to release the disbelief. So if you are faced with what seems like an insurmountable challenge in front of you, and you want to begin a thought or a statement with, I can't or it won't, this card is saying, stop it. Don't go there. So if you want to, so what I want you to do instead is to change it to a question to your guides. So, and then we'll make it into an affirmative statement. So because the first thing is we need to get guidance, and we'll look at the cards here as well, of course. But so if you think I can't do it, change that around. Don't even say it, and say instead, how can I do this? And talk to your higher self and talk to your guides. So if you feel like something's not possible, then say, how can I make this possible? How else can I do this? So if you can't do this, how else can this be done? Or how else can I achieve that goal? If this process can't do it, what else? Show me another door. Show me another way. I can do this, but this isn't working. Show me how else I can do this. That's even more powerful. So we want to break the I can't or it won't, because it's very, very, it repels the energy. It's very negative. It's very sort of like lower energy. So this isn't working. How else can I do it? I really, you even want to sort of like look at something, see, why am I so attached to this outcome? So you can say, what else is possible? If this isn't working, what else is possible? Is there a better way? Is there a better outcome that I can't see? Because you may even be limiting yourself to that one thing. So show me what else is there. And the minute you start to open up, then again, it's sort of like this release and this relief from your shoulders, like the 10 of Wands reverse. It's sort of like, I'm letting this all go. I don't need to carry this anymore. Okay? Speaking of Wands, near future, we have the 3 of Wands. What you're trying to do is already underway. This is a card that shows almost instant or very, very quick manifestation on your goal. And the typical 3 of Wands would show someone looking from a distance, and it comes after. This is the 2 of Wands, where you sort of ask and decide to yourself, like, what's coming. I'll hold that there to the side, and I'll show you the 2 of them. The 3 of Wands is saying, I know what I want, and now I know where to look because I know what I want, and I'll be able to recognize what I want because I know what it looks like, or I'm ready to receive it. As I'm talking to you, I continue to get activations in my 3rd chakra, right around my belly button. So some of you are really trying to birth or release or create something. So again, this is recognition. I see what I can do. I see what's possible. Now I see it in my environment. Now I see that I've always had the capacity to do this. I understand I'm part of this. I have to dream it, then I'm going to do it. And as I'm doing it, I see that there's return on that. I see that there's more opportunities coming in the form of these little ships. So the 3 of Wands is holding that vision and holding that dream. This reminds me a little bit of a dream catcher. And so in this moment, know that you are the dream, and you are not just capturing it, but you are creating it. You're dreaming it, you're doing it, you're living it, you're attracting it. Okay? And if you don't see it, look elsewhere. It's out there. This, whatever you're trying to do, see, create, etc. We see that prism in the center there. So you got to look in all the different directions. An example here is I'm looking at manifesting a new home, and I'll update you all when it's all completely final. But one of the things that I had to do was look outside of the zip code that I was interested in, and look in different places. And also pay attention. I was talking to one of my friends the other day about keywords. So when you're searching the internet or searching any of the rental sites, there are certain keywords. What I found energetically is that there were certain attributes in a home or an apartment that attract other things. So if you could find this and this, likely the rest of the list would be there, but sometimes they wouldn't list everything else. So let's focus on keywords in a sort of psychic sense, where you want to really look at the most important element, the one that is, when you have this, you always have everything else. And if you can get those 2 or 3 key elements that you're trying to create in your life, in a relationship, for instance, maybe to list a few, it could be something like someone who is self-sufficient, emotionally available, and has no debt. Maybe these things are really important to you. And usually when those people have those things, then everything else falls in alignment. Think about what are the absolute bare essentials and put those up there in the universe, and trust that as you kind of put that everything else is gonna, you can just sort of like group the rest in the, and this, of course, but focus on the keywords, and then don't try to put such a big list up there that you feel overwhelmed. I would say 3 to 5 things that you're looking for, the top level items and the most important ones, and the ones that typically attract everything else. So just something to think about. Sometimes we focus on the weeds or the minutia when we should be focusing on the essentials. And usually when there's a high level essential, the other stuff factors in. So, I'll leave it at that for you. And for each of you, those are going to be slightly different, but that'll maybe help you not feel so overwhelmed by trying to manifest 30 things. So in a home, maybe when you look at something like central air conditioning, typically a unit that has that has a lot of other things that wouldn't be existing in another unit. Or, maybe it's an elevator or whatever, but like there's certain building features that would be there, and then all the other smaller stuff usually is attracted to that because that's a higher feature. So think in your lifetime of jobs and of people and of situations. What are the big things that usually indicate that all the other work has been done? Because to have that, you would need the structure and the bones to support that. So reach higher, think higher, and allow that to be a beacon that will bring about the right structure in your life. Okay? And then look in different directions. 3 of Wands is most effective if you're present and you believe in what's possible. So you got to look around. If he's facing in the wrong direction, you won't see the ships coming in. So he needs to kind of look around a little bit and then remember what he was looking for from the 2 of Wands. So that's what I want. That's where it should be. Okay, I see it now. All right, let's focus on the first card that shows a limit this month. So far, they've all been really great. That's funny. Sorry, that is my Echo device popping in. So we have the 4 of Wands here in the deep past, or not the 4 of Wands, the 4 of Pentacles in the deep past. And the 4 of Pentacles comes through when we are aware of what we're holding on to, but we're not necessarily ready to let go of it just yet. And so do you see on this card all of the sort of rubber band-like energy? What happens sometimes is we get tightly wound up with something. So it could be that you are so attached to doing something that you've worked so long on doing that long after the thrill or the desire to even finish it has sort of come through, you're just still hanging on to that. So you are allowed, I say this a lot, you're allowed to change direction, change course, or change your mind or your heart at any given point. Especially if you've been trying something and you're like, you know what, I don't like this as much as I thought. If you started eating food and it didn't taste good, if it wasn't done or if it was rotten or something, you wouldn't keep eating the whole dish. At some point you would say, this doesn't taste right. I can't digest this. But sometimes we keep sticking in a relationship or sticking with a job or living in a situation long after our stomach is like, I don't like it. So just as you would put down something that didn't kind of like suit your taste buds, if all other senses are saying no, pay attention to that and release it. You don't have to hold on to something because it's the only thing in front of you. So if you're in the kitchen and you're making something, and just because that plate's in front of you, that doesn't mean that there isn't other things in the pantry that you could cook, right? Or there's something in the fridge that isn't already there that you could eat. So you have to look around a little bit and say, why am I consuming this and why am I holding on to this? I don't think I've ever used that metaphor for the Four of Pentacles, but it is very much like that. Just because this is the plate in front of you, that doesn't mean you have to keep eating it or it's the only thing to eat, or that this is as good as it gets. If all you've had is vanilla, try some chocolate, try some cherry, try something else. Lots of flavors of ice cream and other things. So sample and see what else is out there before you continue to hold on to whatever it is in front of you, okay? When it comes to how much you're getting paid, how much you're exchanging energetically for things right now, the Four of Pentacles is usually an underestimation of what's necessary. So if you are receiving less than and you're over sort of delivering, then this is a chance to check that and say, in order to keep doing this, I need this. Or I am exhausted, I need to pull back a little bit, I need some help, we need additional assistance here. So something's out of balance when it comes to what's being delivered and what's being given. So speaking up, creating limits, and asking for what you need, these are hard things to do, I know, but they're important things to do as well, okay? Let's see what else here. Oh, the last thing is that when you get too tightly bound up, it's like yarn. You actually don't realize all that is in there, all that's available. So when you let go a little bit, you start to see how far you can reach. You realize there's a lot more potential, there's a lot more there, and it also feels a lot better. So just release a little bit, see what happens, ask for more, and if something's not good enough, if you're not getting what you need out of a situation, especially when it comes to payment, then seek something more, because you deserve. The Four of Pentacles is way too little. It's not like, even if I'm looking at not-for-profit organizations, nonprofits still need to create, like they need overhead, right? You need to pay for the people that are there, for the power, for the rent, all that other stuff. So you need to actually be more in the Six of Pentacles. And that sixth pentacle is actually helping cover all of this stuff and helping with things like communications and marketing and all of that. So even for a nonprofit, I'd be looking for Six of Pentacles, not five, definitely not four. And so there's an opportunity for you right now to just do a little bit more in recuperating your energy or getting more abundance in your life. All right. In the environment, we have either you or someone else that might be struggling at present with vision and not like your eyesight. Yes, we'll talk about that when we look at health, but the Two of Swords is more traditionally sort of thinking, how do I get through this? Is there some other possibility here? What should I do? So let's talk about this. Because it's in your environment, there could be someone that's starting to open up. We have the Two of Swords here in the reverse state. So I think for some of you, maybe the hard work at trying to help them see something from a different perspective is opening up. The thing with the Two of Swords is it's shades of gray. There isn't black and white. There isn't a clear yes. There isn't a clear no. So someone's looking to you maybe to sort of make their mind up for them. And I think that's a dangerous thing to do. What you can do is listen to them instead and say, talk me through it. What are you thinking? What do you like more? Help them understand that sometimes all they need to do is kind of like trust their instincts. So you can help them align to their instincts and say, I can't make up your mind for you, but I can help you feel it out. Let's see what feels best to you. And then you have to trust your instincts. Maybe you can help them pinpoint some challenges or whatever. So you don't have to make someone else's mind up. If it's your job and you're being asked to be choosing between a couple things, what I would say is do the research, get the data there to show that there is no clear choice. Look and see if there's a trend and follow the trend perhaps. At the end of the day, there's probably a leap of faith that's necessary. So take that leap of faith and do the best that you can and then course correct as needed. That's all you or anyone else can ask of you, is just to do the best with the time, the energy, and the information given. Okay? Now, the Two of Swords in reverse is an opening overall. It could also be a revelation. Here's the interesting thing. When it's like parents or bosses or someone close to you, sometimes this is someone seeing you for the first time. They didn't want to see or listen or accept whatever it was that you were trying to present to them. But just like even in an eclipse, you're still going to see that faint outline of the sun. They're starting to see things take shape and take form. And there's this moment now where, again, everything's going to be bright and clear. So I see you coming out of this sort of eclipse or this darkness and going into that light energy. And that's going to be great. So be ready and willing to be authentic, to say, this is what I want. There is a spotlight moment in the future for you. And if you can navigate through the tricky waters of the Two of Swords, which is not everything is going to be clear, you have to, there's a very sort of, it's almost an overdone thing that you will see in science fiction movies where there's a seer, like a psychic, but he or she has no sight. Even in The Matrix, they did that with can't think of his name right now, Neo, right? But basically, towards the very end, he lost his eyes, but then he could see the machine world, right? So for you, you don't need to see everything sometimes. You have to sort of close your eyes to what's in front of your sort of very self to just see what's beyond. So there's a revelation where you had to like lose focus a little bit to go beyond and think, well, what else can I do? So if you've lost something, that distance or that block was there to help you see that there was more. Sometimes we have to let go of something, right? All right, so focusing now on what this is opening up for you. Friendship, partnership. We have the Four of Wands here in reverse. And the Four of Wands is one of the best partnership cards one could ask for, because carried with it is the fact that there's basically someone who's solely focused on you, your well-being, and it's very trustworthy. The card is reversed, so it's saying be discerning, be picky. Wait until that person steps into your energy. So for those of you that are looking for love, looking for a business partnership, looking for something where you're really going to be committing, I would say wait until you're ready and they're ready. But I do see that on the horizon. This is in hopes, fears, and opportunity. We see Three of Wands, which means you're bringing it in quicker than you think. Don't lose hope, and don't lower your bar or your standards here, because we see that on the horizon, okay? We now have the wonderful Empress card here in the outcome. And what a nice card to get in the outcome. So the Empress is a card where basically you have the ability to create, to nurture, to lift things up, but there is accountability that's a part of this. And sometimes there's even a decision like, I'm going to take this on myself. So if you need to, and if you're ready, definitely this is one of the two most entrepreneurial cards, Empress and Emperor. And Empress just requires a little bit more nurturing. Like it wants to nurture a little bit more, and it wants to own and hold things a little bit closer. So maybe that's a part of your journey, is to decide like, I'm going to do this and I need to prove to myself that I can do this on my own, for instance, as well. There could also be a really strong energy between you and we have divine feminine energy coming up twice here. So this could be mother or a matriarch or a very strong authority figure in your life that's coming through. The Strength card alone can be a little bit challenging, but the Strength and the Empress card is definitely a force to be reckoned with. So if it's you, you are set up for success. This is the kind of person that enters the room and people are paying attention. Now, in your life, if you're facing the Empress and the Strength card energy, this is someone who is really going to challenge you. So as a future partner, which we'll be looking at when I look at love in a moment, this could be a Leo, by the way, but this person and the Four of Wands would show the loyalty, which I like. So I see someone who's fiercely loyal, but I see someone who will challenge you to be very strong, and they're not afraid to stand their ground or to challenge you. So you're going to find your inner lion or lioness, your inner emperor or empress, and you're going to say, yes, I see you, but you also see me, and maybe the two of you can do something amazing together, right? Could be a friendship or a business partnership or love. I see the energy of partnership coming in a very big way, but you have to be ready to meet that and be the strong person as well. So this is a nice segue to get into the expanded forecast, where we're going to take a look at things like health, wealth, love, and destiny, which I know traditionally over time, which is why I did this, that everybody cares about. Particularly health, wealth, and love. Those are the core things that I think we have to have in almost every reading. All right, we're going to focus first on the health card here, and there's a message of renewal. Right before I do that, I just like to talk about the fact that I'm focusing on energy and choices. But when it comes to your body or your emotional state or your mental health, if there's anything going on, you'll work with the appropriate professional, obviously, for that. I'm looking at metaphysics, less about the physics here. All right, so when we're looking at metaphysics and how you can be an agent of change, basically we got a death and rebirth card here. It says renewal, and then we have the cute little frog prince there. And what I like about this is there's a chance for you to be more than you imagined. So when we think of kissing the frog or a frog prince, there's sort of like this diamond in the rough, right? And so some of you are maybe not even realizing the luster or the there's another word for it, the clarity that you have as that potential diamond, all the different facets to your soul. There's someone else in your life that might be seeing that. We have the princess right there looking at the frog and saying, I see potential. I wonder if this person sees potential. So the healthiest thing that you can do this month is to focus on your potential, not on your limits, more on what you can be and what you know to be, even if it's not yet showing up, because the Three of Wands tells us that the moment that you believe is the moment that you will be able to see. In energy, believing is seeing, believing is the key to manifesting. If you don't believe, then you close the doors and the key won't work. You have to believe it's possible, open the door and see if it's possible. And I think this works in everything, including science. If you don't test out a theory, if you just say, oh, forget it, this is all there is, you have to at least test the theory to see if it's valid. And even when you're testing, you might find, well, that didn't work, but look at what else I discovered. Let me test this. It's all part of the journey. So open yourself up to believing or testing or trying something, because this is very much just taking a step at a time and seeing where it takes you, okay? There is a chance to do it better this time. The subtitle on this one is renewal. So after a period of being blocked, there is renewal, recovery, but there's some sort of a limit here or some sort of an illusion that needs to be broken. And that's what we're going to be focusing on when we're looking at health. Other messages with respect to health this month. Don't ignore things. Two of Swords in a health spread has to do with feeling or seeing something, but maybe not doing something about it. Of course, it can also be just making sure that this can be peripheral vision, by the way, because this is a vision card and it's in the environment, which is the periphery. So for those of you that might have had like a stroke, or maybe there's just your eyesight is going a little bit, focus on the periphery and get a test. Make sure that there's this interesting little thing where, like little squiggles or whatever that they test, but there's a special eye test where you look down and they make sure that that's working. So peripheral vision. Also look at what's going on in the environment around you. There's something that needs to be paid attention to, and you likely know what it is, and this is just a call to action. So if you feel or see something, do something about it. Focusing on actual strength building is something that you want to take at face value with the strength card. This has to do with like building up muscle strength and physical strength and rehabilitation if that's something that you're going through. But when we strengthen the body, we become a channel that is able to kind of bring in more energy. Don't sit as much as you're sitting. Move a little bit more, focus on strength building. Look at what's going on around you or within you and pay attention to it and do something about it. Thankfully, there were really no sort of darker cards like the Devil or the Ten of Swords that came through. So as long as you focus on something, you have the key to fix it. You have the ability to fix it, which I like. Walking is a good form of exercise, so talk to your doctor about that and see if that's something you can open up to. I like what I see here. I think it's manageable. I think it's more about paying attention to something that you just don't want to know about, but knowledge is power, and until you ask or until you try, you're not going to know how much you need to focus on something. So just keep an open dialogue with health professionals and with looking again at the periphery. Moving from health to wealth, we have a karmic shift here. Some of you are deciding to go against the grain. So we have DNA, which can represent family. We have karma, and this whole card is reversed. So some of you may have this sort of expectation long before you even had a chance to decide what you wanted to do. Mom or dad maybe said, well, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, or you can't do this because nobody in our family is good at this. So there's an ancestral and a familial shift where it's like, well, that's not true of me. I'm different. I can try this. So I see you breaking from the DNA of the family or of the ancestral sort of DNA and saying, I'm the first one to do this. Maybe you're the first one to live debt-free, the first one to finish the education that you wanted to finish, the first one to start your own company, to get married, whatever it is. There's something going on where you're shifting the sort of trend, and you're like, no, I've got this. Maybe the rest of you don't, but that's you and that's your truth, and that I'm not bound by my ancestral energetic sort of traits. I'm going to be able to break free. So be yourself, do something different. Follow what you're truly being guided to do. And you can break a karmic cycle or release a karmic cycle. And I believe on the weekend, I kind of worked with this a little bit, but focus on releasing old contracts. So, and this is kind of a common theme for some reason as I'm looking at the month ahead for everybody. So you could say, like, if there's a person in your life and you're done with that relationship, one of the things that you can say is, again, thank you for the lessons. You're not going to say it necessarily to the person, just psychically. Thank you for the lessons you taught. I release you, mind, body, and spirit. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to that for me as well. Bless the situation. When I move out of this apartment, it's been challenging, but I'm going to look back and say, thank you for the abundance that you brought into my life. Thank you for giving me shelter and for giving me a place to live. Goodbye. I don't want to come back. You just sort of like, you put the keys, you say thank you, and bless it, because the next person that comes in, I want them to feel a blessing. And then I hope that I feel a blessing in the next space that I step into as well. So leave relationships and spaces better than they were when you came in, and leave them with a blessing. And with the contract release, if it's a person or like a debt or whatever, say, I release this, thank you for teaching me, goodbye and good luck. Put something nice on it. It's good karma for you, and it's going to bring more. You get what you give. So give good energy and you'll receive good energy. Let's see if there's anything else now, focusing specifically on wealth. So I feel like I really kind of like hammered on the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is saying you can and you will receive more than what you currently are. This is the foundation. We see this set up like the four corners of a room. So you got a nice firm foundation. Let's build from this. If they can't see your potential, someone else will. This is the partnership card. This is the potential. This is the manifestation of that potential. So if someone has limited vision, we'll take it on a sort of literal, but also on a symbolic level. We've all been with someone who just lacks the vision or lacks the hope or lacks the faith. So if someone's in your life and they lack the vision, then you're just sort of thinking, all right, I can't make you see better. I can't change that. So I'm going to transplant myself somewhere else where I am appreciated, where I matter, where I can grow. So that just like a pot, you need to sometimes transplant yourself so there's roots and room and opportunity there. So don't limit yourself just because someone else is limited. Very entrepreneurial energy with Hierophant reverse and Empress upright. This is saying, I hold the key and I don't need to go down that traditional gatekeeper path, and I'm tired of being told no. So maybe I'm just going to do this myself in business. And keep yourself open, because someone might be giving you a tip or a hint or some really constructive criticism that can help you leapfrog into this Three of Wands and leapfrog past this potential limit here. May not make sense to work for family right now, because we have the familial energy, the karma, and the reversal of this. So you don't have to go into the family business. You don't have to work with family. If you are working with a close friend or a family member, really hammer out what's expected in sort of like the breakdown of duties and all of that. See if there's anything else. Simply that things can happen quicker than you think. So when manifesting, all of this, or even better, or greater, or for my highest good, or faster than I imagine, just open yourself up to the possibilities, because as evolved as you are, you may be missing something. So let the universe have your back, lift you up, and show you something even better than your biggest dream, okay? And I think that's what I'm seeing here is there is potential to kind of surpass and also like make it happen now. Three of Wands is now, it's in this moment. So something is ready to open sooner. You have to keep trying to open new doors. So let's imagine that you were in a room filled with doors and you tried the first lock and it didn't work. That doesn't mean that the key is broken. It means that that lock didn't fit. So you got to keep trying different doors. One of them will open. Don't give up, all right? And that's the message for like work and school and life. You have to keep trying some different paths and different ways, and you will find the one that opens, okay? And it should happen quickly. Three of Wands is typically, it could be like 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 weeks, no more than a quarter of the year. It's fast when we're looking at cards and manifestation. So I feel good about whatever shift you're making, but this will be the most challenging piece, is letting go, asking for more, and accepting when more comes your way, because this has been a comfortable box and we're breaking out of that box. Let's take a look now at love, and we have the Ascension card here. Really powerful energy. Move into your true self, rise above the darkness. The light is here. Indeed it is, and I think we're all ready for that. So with this Ascension card, I mentioned for partnership this month, the strength and the power that we're kind of pulling in here. So these are your partner cards. This is you, and this is who you're pulling in. So we have the lion or lioness at the center, this really strong sense of self. And now we have someone here who is also pretty darn strong. We have a queen energy coming in. So we have a king and a queen, basically, like the king of the jungle. And now we have the queen of the forest here in this particular deck. So we have very strong energies. You are moving, you're on the move. Whoever you're with is a little bit more grounded, or whoever you might be pulling in might be a little bit more grounded. So let's break it down. We're going to look at in love, looking for love, or single and happy. So as I was just saying, for present partnerships, the biggest sort of challenge will be how to kind of move someone who's maybe stuck or doesn't want to kind of change their mind into something that you see. You're like, I got this idea and it's going to pan out and I want you to be a part of it, but they're very much rooted and stuck in a sort of path. And you're like, but let's just try. So you're going to have to kind of like, and that you may be the stubborn one, but I'm seeing one partner being very open and very sort of maybe even having wanderlust where they want to travel or explore something a little bit. And the other one wanting to kind of put the brake on and say, but let's stay here, or this is safe. So there's that. You're going to have to find a common ground and maybe a little bit of compromise between the 2 points. The good news is the 2 outcome cards are fantastic. So this is the near future and this is the outcome. So all you have to really do is bring them into the fold here. This is saying, you know, I have our best interest at heart, and I wouldn't do something that would violate that trust or put that in jeopardy. And so I want you to be a part of this. Let's make it work together. So it's a very inclusive energy between the 3 of Wands, 4 of Wands, and the Empress. But you're going to have to make a very strong case. There may also be just tangible, legitimate limits in resources. Maybe you've been spending a lot over the past year or two, and it's sort of like, I see this, I want to do this, but it can't happen right now. So you just figure out how and when. So there's a little bit of a compromise, a little bit of a back and forth. And so instead of a no, it's a not yet, or a how about, like, you know, at the end of the year or the beginning of next year, let's put it on the calendar and let's work to make this happen. So it feels like there's a change that's coming through, but there's one partner that's very stuck, or there could be resources that are stuck and that's holding the other person back. So partner up and figure out how to do this together. One or both of you need to sort of try to bring it into a higher energy. The Ascension card definitely comes through for karmic relationships. We've got karma right here. And the karma's in the money and the career sector. So for some of you, the challenge is you might have been in a relationship for a while, and now you want to change your career or go back and get education or do a turn. It's going to require support from your partner because you're partners, right? And you're in this together. And so you're going to have to figure out, like, can we afford this now? How much can we do? And that's what it is. So there could be a life change that's happening, and it's affecting the partner because your resources are connected. And so it's just about communicating why this is a growth sort of a change. And well, you've already been doing the internal growth, but you need this to keep growing and to keep thriving. Otherwise, like a plant, it's going to just sort of like wither in its current pot. It needs room to grow. And so that's what you want to communicate is growth potential, growth need, and figure out how the two of you can work together on it. So that's the main thing that I'm seeing. A couple of smaller little things to focus on is, for some of you, there is a resistance to any sort of shift. This is a very conservative card. This is a very grounded card. And so what I see here is someone that may just have a hard time changing or seeing change happen. They're averse to that. So if you have to move, or if you change your look a little bit, this person kind of gets freaked out a little bit. So it's a little bit of hand holding, a little bit of letting them know it's going to be okay. This is also, you're seeing something going on with them, but they're not aware of it, or they're not paying attention to it, or they're not paying attention to you. So making sure that both of you are taking time to be together and be present and acknowledge one another and one another's challenges is key. Ultimately, it looks pretty good. Overall, I like what I'm seeing here. If you're looking for love right now, it's a great time to be looking for love. You can manifest. It's not where it's not going to be directly in your environment. It's not someone you know. It's someone that comes into your life. We have the traveler card here, the Fool. So this is someone who you've sort of like, you've been ships in the night before, crossing and not seeing each other. Now, in the light of day, in the light of the Three of Wands, which we do want to see a traditional card here for a moment, those ships are a lot easier to see. So you're going to be able to see one another and recognize this person when they come in. So I definitely see this being a good time to be out there and be dating. We have a commitment card here, which is exciting for those of you that are seeking love. Four of Wands in reverse. Don't rush it. This is one of the most challenging things when something's almost, you know it's going to be good, whether it's, again, a job or an apartment or a relationship, and you just feel like this is the one, this is it. You don't want to rush it too much. Get to know the person. Make sure that you have the common grounds, that everything's coming together, but I like what I'm seeing here. I am seeing very strong and very mature energy coming through, so this is probably, if it is someone young, they have a very old soul. It could be someone who's a little bit older or just very mature and very, again, they're going to stand their ground. So you're going to rise up to meet their energy. So this ascension energy is showing me a strong soul, a high energy. So be ready for that. And realize that if they see it, literally, this is an iris in the Four of Wands. If they see it in you, you have it. And you may not see it, but it's there. So part of this is accepting that if an opportunity comes your way, the universe sees potential. So entertain the possibility that the potential is there. This person may be more attractive or more experienced or richer or whatever. And and by the way, that's all subjective. So you're thinking that they're out of your league, but they're in your league, you're in their league, and you have the potential to partner up with that person. So yeah, I like what I see. The other thing here is that either you or the other person will be challenging one another with respect to tradition. So it's not your traditional type, or they're very outgoing, or there's something about them that challenges you a little bit. But it's a good sort of challenge, not sort of like friction. It's more sort of feeling like, oh, it's kind of fun. It's a complementary energy. All right. So it's a good time to look for love. The only thing that will hold you back is that you may not see what's possible, or you may kind of discount it for any of the reasons that we just said. Stop looking in the places that you've been looking in. Look elsewhere. A trip could help. It could come from friends of friends, and it may just happen, again, synchronistically, like because you're opening up your own good luck right now. So you could open up a synchronicity where you meet the right person at the right time. So do some of the legwork, though. So things won't just sometimes pop into our laps, but start to try different things, engage in different things, take some calculated risks, and they'll pay off this month. If you're single and happy, I think the focus this month is going to be on improving financial stability and calling in more of that abundance, and really plugging into the right kinds of relationships, and I would also say activities. The relationships can be who you're working with, who you're hanging out with, and the activities are how you're spending your time and energy. This is going to allow you to really feel your power and to get past any of these illusions of being blocked, because these cards show anything but being blocked. But what you're doing or what you've been doing, it's not the best use of time and energy. So open up to new experiences, plug into a new outlet, see how that feels for you. And I do see good friendships emerging this month with the Four of Wands. It's one of the best partnership cards you can pull. So across the board, things should get better in relationships. The biggest challenge is a lack of like expectation or preparedness, because this is a little bit of a surprise card. Okay, so we just looked at health, wealth, and love. Let's take a look at your destiny card. We have the Mystic Healing card reversed. It says healing energy flows through you. Let's get her focused there. There we go. Again, a reemergence of the owl. A couple of times the owl has come through. Twice the cards that are showing like this mystical wisdom, they've been reversed. So what's going on in your life right now could seem to go against what you've been told. Like this is the only way, or this is what's possible. You may also have something where you know what to do, but you're not doing it, like judgment or justice reversers, disbelief, or feeling like I just can't or won't make this happen. So know this, the universe wants it to be better for you. The card is all about healing. So healing your money, healing your body, healing your relationships. It's crossing all of those expanded categories. But you have to be open and ready to receive it, and then you have to put it to practice. So the magician connects to the universe and then does something with that energy. They're a conduit, they're a channel, but they're also actively working with all the tools in front of them. So healing will come through, but you have to allow yourself to channel it, and then you have to do something with it. And those are the messages there. All right. So let's go ahead now and focus on the, let's see what we're going to do next. We're going to do the big idea. All right. Big idea is one general area where we can focus on really manifesting this month, I believe. So how can you be a better manifester? And we'll have other questions that we'll look at in just a moment. But since that was the title for today, let's look at that. King of Pentacles. All right. First of all, I love how this King of Pentacles, we see the antlers, and we see that giant pentacle right behind him, almost like the sun or the moon. And with this, it's saying, I am tuned into what it is that brings worth and value in my life. I'm not focusing on what others are asking or expecting or projecting onto me. I'm focusing on what I'm receiving. And also, I want others to be able to feel this sort of whatever it is. So it could be for some of you that want to teach, for some of you that want to express yourself artistically, for some of you that want to help people. There is this nice exchange energy, but you have a big, I called it the big idea, and this is the big idea. So don't lose track of what it is you're trying to do. And if you don't know what you're trying to do, the card is begging you to get a focal point there. So what do I mean? All right, so a lot of times in business and work and in life, we just sort of, we just walk, we just move forward, blindly so, thinking that I'll find my way, I'll figure it out as I go. There are times where that works, where it's just sort of like, let's see what the world has to show. But if you truly want to be effective at something, it's like building a house. I would not want to hire a contractor that did not have measuring tools or understand basic rules of construction. So you don't want to sort of like fake it when it comes to the foundation. You don't want walls to be off a little bit and the floor to be uneven and there to be gaping holes between where the window starts and ends. So there are times where you have to actually have it mapped out. So you can leave some things to the imagination, like where you might live or for how long or how the neighborhood might look or whatever. But when it comes to the construction of the house, it has to be blueprinted and to code. When you're cooking, certain things can be left to the imagination, but certain proteins need to be cooked for a certain amount of times. Some things don't mix well with others. Some tastes don't match up. And so you have to follow certain rules, and then you can know where to break the rules. So I think the big thing for you is knowing what it is that you want to do, generally speaking, to explore where you can. You can add some spice. You can put a different side dish if we're looking at cooking. For a house though, and for like food in general, there are certain things that have to be done. So Know what you can do and know where you can flex. And if you do that, you're going to have some fun with it, and you'll feel so much more in control and at ease. And so that's the message there. Know the rules, know where you can break them, and have some fun. Let's take a look at blessings and blocks next. Just as this sounds, we're going to be taking a look at areas where you can really have some fun and really flex the opportunities, and then some places where you may feel like, uh-oh, this is a challenge. And I always look at the blocks as a chance to really embrace, sort of like a different way of looking at things. So, blessings and blocks. The blessing and the block. Okay, so let's take a look at these cards here. 5, 6, 7. So we have the 7 of Pentacles. This is really interesting. So typically with the 7 of Pentacles, what we would see is a person kind of like thinking, when is this going to be done? Why is it taking so long? And there's this feeling of impatience. And the impatience is the most difficult piece of this, but we'll focus on this illustration and then the traditional one. So this illustration, it actually doesn't matter if it's upright or reverse, it looks the same. So it's basically saying you're being lined up for success. Everything builds upon something else. So it's almost like a step. You just want to make sure that you continue to move in an upward trajectory rather than focusing on taking a step backwards. What happens with the 7 of Pentacles when I see it in a spread, and it's in the blessing state here, is it can indicate growth, recovery, and improvement. And so here's your traditional card, and we see all of what I just mentioned. Something is growing, something is changing, something's getting better. With the figure on the card, he's a little tired, a little tired of waiting, maybe a little tired of putting the energy into this, wishing that it was already that beautiful tree or shrub or bush that we see in the 9 of Pentacles, where it's abundance and there's more than enough. This is saying I have to keep tending to it, I have to keep watering it, fertilizing it, trimming it, all of that. So if you do that, however, you're going to see growth. So do not give up. Trust that the growth and the improvement and the eventual independence is coming. But right now, your only focus is on, I see the improvement, I see the growth, and I'm going to keep doing this because a few months or a few years or however long in the past that I was, from the starting point, I can see that I've made progress. That wasn't fun. This is better. Let's keep focusing on the forward trajectory, okay? So we see improvement and just a sort of reality check and a gratitude check. Thank you so much for giving me a second chance. I may be annoyed sometimes at how long it's taking, but it's still happening, and that's a blessing. And I need to reset my sort of energy so that I'm releasing this need for it to happen immediately, because doing that will actually help it happen faster, okay? The block this month is emotions. So we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. And whenever I get a Knight card in reverse, it's actually the universe saying it's good to slow down. Take a moment, even take a moment to take a step or two back. Not saying that you're not going to do something, but looking back and thinking, why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? What can I do to have some fun? What's going on here? Why is this happening? Because I don't want to move to the next gate before I've gotten through this and figured it out. The whole reading today, I've been getting activations in the solar plexus. So I already know that I want to look at power struggles for my reader's choice because I don't want to feel this for the latter part of the reading. But I feel for some of you, someone else is the source of the emotional stuff that's going on. So one of the things that you can look at is how to overcome or to release that. And a big part of that is just deciding to change the mental channel. Obviously, it's a lot harder if it's a partner or a boss or someone that's immediately around you. But if it is someone further in the periphery, or maybe even someone that's no longer here, that's in spirit, you can start to focus on what's around you and what's in front of you instead. For those of you that are dealing with a really challenging person or situation and you're attached to that, what you're going to be doing right now is seeing, where do I have freedom to move in my life? How much of this is me? And where can I actually push back on this sort of tug of war that they're doing? Because sometimes what happens is people see you as this beautiful sort of energetic sponge, and they'll just keep dumping energy as long as you're willing to hold it. But even a sponge reaches a point where it can't hold anymore. So this month you're going to kind of like wring it all out and say, no, I'm doing a reset, and I don't need to keep accepting or pulling that in. Find some outlets for you creatively, socially. And I actually think it would be better if there's not some sort of, you're not getting graded on it, and there's nothing that, it doesn't even have to help you professionally or anything. Have some fun and do some things that just make you feel like, I'm free, this is great. So maybe it's a day at the beach, maybe it's some time painting or drawing or writing or singing or dancing or gardening. There's so many different activities. Sporting activities constitute the same sort of release too. So maybe you're going to go play basketball with your friends or soccer or whatever, football. So whatever it is you want to do something for fun. And it's even better if you break a sweat or kind of, move the energy and move your body. That's going to help you get unblocked and changing the focus from the person to you. So if someone is treating you poorly, a boss, for instance, look for new opportunities. Find a place where you can be respected. Because if you just keep having friction with them, it's one of two things is going to happen. You're going to get very uncomfortable at that job, or they're going to make you leave, right? On your own volition, or they'll choose to do so. They could fire you or make you redundant. So whatever it is, one way, shape, or form, just find something else. It's going to be better than fighting the inevitable, which is this isn't the right match, okay? So the universe is asking you to basically reset and release, and then that's going to help you find the path and the power and the ability to move forward. It's a knight after all. The knight is going to be able to move, but it needs to let go energetically and let go of trying to control someone or to improve something that isn't really receptive. So the big message, and it's come through in different ways. For some of you, it's people. For some of you, it's activities. You could plug into something better or more receptive to your energy. When you do that, you leapfrog. So there's a change of investment of time and energy that's going to be the key to you manifesting your luck this month. So now I'm feeling a little better in the solar plexus, but we're moving on to viewers and readers' choice, where we're going to look even more at the solar plexus. So I already know what I want to focus on for you. Let me give you a chance to vote on some other topics while I'm doing that. Today's kind of cool. It's not kind of cool. It's totally cool, because it's very clear on what your sign needs and what's coming through, which tells me many of you are ready to kind of open up, which is fantastic. All right. So let's take a look right now and do a viewers and readers choice. So I'm going to let you see the table while I'm doing this. All right. So as I'm focusing on the cards, there's actually some great things that are coming through. So we have this sort of karmic release here. So let's take a look. Karmic release. What's the karmic release basically? All right. And the next thing that I want to look at is how best to leapfrog into something new. Well, I'll just put how best to leapfrog. And let's look at the next option here. Looking at how to meet a strong partnership. So we're just going to put partnership advice outlook. All right. So here's a few options for you to look at. While you're doing that, I want to sort out what's going on in the solar plexus for many of you. So let's take a look at solar plexus messages. Wow. Okay. So this is one of the most powerful cards in the major arcana, second to last, penultimate. We have the Judgment card coming through, and the card was reversed, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but it's very much in alignment with this. So this says in the sort of like subtitle, it says, be the light, right? So we have the White Witch, which is just basically saying focus on higher energy. And then now we have Judgment, and what's going on? We have all of these birds, and then we have this dove reaching up, being the light, being peaceful. It's kind of like the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's one of the most sort of like captivating Judgment cards I've seen. So the card was reversed. Okay. Judgment. Judgment is sometimes just simply accepting what is already happening. Justice is the decision, holding the scales, figuring it out. Should I do it? Should I not? Judgment basically is saying it's already done, or you know what to do. It's just a matter of doing or saying or completing it. So the writing is on the wall. You've kind of skimmed it. Now it's saying really read it and take note and make some sort of an action or decision of what you want to do about it. But you are worthy of something positive happening in your life. You are capable of coming back after some sort of a failure or setback. And this is the time to take the action. This card comes right before the world, which is opening, releasing, distributing, publishing, all of that. And so all that is holding you back is disbelief or not wanting to kind of embrace that, or someone else kind of like made the decision and that upsets you. But everything is opening. It's basically setting you up to go on to something else. So judgment reverse. Why did this happen to me? Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you lost someone that you love, something that happened to me this year. Maybe things are going on around you and they are annoying you. It's happening because a chapter has ended and you will discover something stronger or something better in your life. All right. So in the case of me, like all the construction, I found so many better places out there. And now I look at this place and I think it really did serve its purpose and I'm ready for something different. Anything would be an improvement. So the construction and all the other drama that's been going on was really just a chance to snap me out of it and help me see that this wasn't it. When you lose someone in your life, it could be a partner and just like a divorce. It could be a friend that moves away. It could be losing someone that you love as they transition into spirit. What you realize is, oh, wow, I didn't know I could do this, or I didn't know I had that potential. You start to see also that there's more than what you thought was important. So suddenly, if someone is acting petty, if work is stressful, if, there's some sort of monetary loss or something, you look at it in the big scheme of things and you're like, but I'm on the planet. I still have life and blood flowing through me. I can still make a difference. So it doesn't matter as much as I thought. So your judgment starts to shift, your perspective starts to shift, and there's this ability to realize, wow, I can do this. I am doing this. So you are more powerful than you think. You are at the precipice of a big shift, but there is acceptance that needs to happen. And there's a sort of like looking around and really seeing things from a new set of eyes, as if you were reborn. That's the option in front of you. So you're not stuck. This isn't the end. It might be annoying, but it's setting you up for getting out of something. So I feel some of you are being pushed in the right direction, but some of you are just focusing on the fact that there was a push, and that's what's bothering you, rather than where you're being sort of gently nudged to sort of grow and to expand. All right, let's see what you chose for me. Karmic release. That's actually a really nice complement to what I just talked about, because judgment is past life energy in tarot, because you're rising from the dead. So a lot of times if I'm looking for in a love reading and I get that, it's like showing a karmic connection. So let's take a look and see what is the karmic energy that you're being encouraged to release or deal with at this moment in time. What cycle can you make or break as well? Okay, so we have the moon card here. We got the moon. The moon was reversed. It's an uprooting sort of energy here. So, by the way, one of the big karmic cycles could be in the past, either the energy between you and your mother, perhaps, could also be wife energy too. But what we're looking at now in this lifetime is the ability to. You do not need someone else, because when I'm looking at like divine feminine energy, it's about birthing. So the message karmically is you can do this yourself. And the karmic relationship and the karmic challenge that's going to come up is that there's someone else who thinks they know better for you, like what you should be doing, probably because they were maternal in the past lifetime. So a mom, an aunt, a grandma, or a wife. And in this lifetime, they want the best for you, but they may be coming in and not allowing you to sort of do it on your own. Just like a kid, you have to leave the nest And we have that energy coming through in the deep past. This is a child card. And so in this lifetime, what we see here is the absence of the struggle between divine feminine and masculine. So it's just saying, I am me. And we had the outcome being the divine feminine. So you've basically embodied the divine feminine. And what you're going to do now is realize that you don't have to prove. You just have to be. I think the karmic message this month is you know who you are and you know what you need to be. And if somebody else can't see that or refuses to see it, it isn't your job to try to teach them anymore. So just stand your ground. The two cards here in the moon are stable and strong and equal. You are not greater than or less than, you are equal to the person. And we talked about that when I looked at the partnerships. I see these as a king and a queen, king of the jungle, queen of the forest. So it's very much king and queen energy, and they're equal, even though there's a difference in suit. I don't really read that kind of rank, and I don't really read gender. So I'm just seeing even footing with someone else, even though they think they know better than you. This lifetime, your choice is to not have to prove them right or wrong, but just to sort of like live and demonstrate your power and your autonomy. So you don't need someone to help you do it. If someone says you're not good enough or tries to step in and tries to control you, you don't have to fight that. You just have to kind of be yourself, walk your path, and choose a better sort of, again, energetic investment. The moon card in reverse is also about fears. And for many of us, what happened before does not need to happen again in this life and in others. And the moon card can be like whatever you would consider your worst fear. It's done. It's in the past, whether it's just failure, some of you even success. Whatever your fear is, it's not going to be as big, or it's not going to even be in this lifetime. You are a different person now, and you're in control of this. The moon can also just be release and birthing. So you don't need to hold on to anything anymore. So karmically, you have the divine feminine energy to control, to manifest, and to be equal with someone. You have the ability to birth and to create. So you can do this on your own. You can do this full stop. That's the main message here. And it's because someone else in a past life had the ability to tell you no, or you don't, or they had sort of more control over you. So you're regaining your control, and that's the karma. All right. Let's take a look at today's schedule just to make sure that I've been through everything. We did the Celtic Cross. We did the big idea, blessings and blocks, viewer's choice. So now we're going to move on to, I like this part. This is something new that I started a couple months ago. This is sun, rising, and moon. If you just joined, the whole message today can be used for any aspect of your chart. This part in particular is for folks that just want to kind of tune in and understand sun, rising, and moon, and it kind of gives it like a cherry on top and a little bit of focus. So we're going to look at each of these. Of course, we're looking at Gemini. So Gemini sun, it would be for those of you born under the sun sign, and it would also sort of be like just the core you. The sun sign is how we are at our core. Rising is how we want to be perceived. It's a projection card, and it's an environment and a community card. The moon aspect is going to be focusing on things that we're still discovering, things that we may not want others to know, things that we're needing to kind of really pay attention to for our own happiness. There can also be like a secret sort of like, energy for success in that too. So I'm curious to look at that. All right, let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle, and then we'll break it down. All right, we already have the sun sign popping out here with the High Priestess. Rising, moon. Okay, so let's chat about all three. We'll start first with sun sign messages. And so we have the wonderful High Priestess. This one jumped out of the deck, literally, which is cool. And I did feature the High Priestess when we were looking at the channel messages. So why don't we review that real quick, and then we'll hop back into this. So as I was talking about channel messages earlier today, this card came through, well, the slide came through, which is what I made earlier. I was talking about the shamrock, which is your totem for today. And it says basically the blocks or the potential for you in manifestation come down to these last questions here. First of all, you have to be prepared and you have to believe in yourself. So do you believe in your potential? And when something comes through, again, maybe it's you're looking for someone to get married to, or you're looking for a place to move to, or you're looking to do something big that's going to require a commitment or a change of environment. when that happens, are you ready to pack your bags and make it happen? Are you ready to put that ring on your finger and say, yes, I do? Are you really, really ready? And this is kind of hearkening back to the commitment. So if you're committed, we actually also saw the Four of Wands card coming through, which is saying good, because that person's ready too. And you are creating that which you seek. So be ready for it and don't disbelieve it when it comes down your path. Focus on the sort of like what's going out in your head, because it's a satellite dish that's both receiving and sending. So the tidal energy that I talked about earlier this month with some other signs is definitely present for you as well. So if you see that you can possibly do it, you can do it. If you are afraid that you can't do it, you're going to be a lot less effective at manifesting. So thoughts become reality. Your potential is actually right there in front of you. You have to just sort of embrace it. And then, as I said earlier, preparedness is going to be really key, because you may be surprised at just how quickly some of these things are starting to manifest. So don't doubt yourself and have some fun, okay? This is also a card of deepening your spiritual connection. And by all means, feel free to kind of like go deeper down the rabbit hole when it comes to learning tarot, learning about healing arts, etc. It's all coming through for you. Okay, let's move from sun to rising. As I said, the rising or ascendant message has to do with how you're being received, how effectively you're projecting or communicating your sort of image to others. And we have an interesting card this month coming through for that. We have the Six of Pentacles. I really like this in general when we're looking at work and money, and also just messages. At its core, it's about discernment. I'm going to pull up the traditional card because, as beautiful as that one is, it doesn't tell you much about what's going on. So with the Six of Pentacles, the choice is yours, and you're going to decide. It's kind of like the same thing that I've been saying in different ways, but this is going to help you. When I see the Six of Pentacles in tarot, the message with this card is, I may not have everything that I want, but I have everything that I need to get what I want. So it's the first step in bringing things into focus. This is so much more effective at communicating it. I like all the other cards today, but we really need the traditional one for this. So what you see is a lot of open hands in front of you, and you are holding the scales and you are deciding, does this make sense? Is this overreaching for me? Because those people can also represent desires in your own mind. So you're going to think to yourself, all right, I have this much time, this much money, and this much attention span. What can I do today to make a difference? And what can I do today to make sure that I keep the balance, so that tomorrow I have either the Six or the Seven of Pentacles? I want more than, I don't want to go in the reverse. So part of that means I'm going to say no to this, or I'm going to pull this deadline out into the future a little bit. So you're going to have to be flexible with the Six of Pentacles. You can't have it all now. You can't have everything that you anticipated the way that you thought you could. But over time, if you adjust the timelines, how much you're investing, how many people you pull on board, etc., you can eventually get it. So get realistic. That's what I'm seeing here. And be discerning and say no. And you may have to help other people see their own limits too. So this month is about setting a realistic bar and thinking to yourself, is this something you can even ask the question, is this something we truly need? Or what if we tried this? Use the power of questions to help people see things from a different perspective, okay? So you have everything you need, but not everything you want. You have more than enough to make your dreams happen, but not everything to have them happen right here, right now. So you're gonna have to be asked to do like long-term planning. So some of you may like that, some of you may not like that, but that's basically the message there. When it comes to starting something new, it is a green light. It is saying you can do this, you can make this happen, and it will take off. It's just setting a realistic timeline to it, okay? So I hope you like that. That's the message. All right, we'll move along to the moon sign. So this month, impatience is going to be the most challenging aspect for those of you that are Gemini moon. So you may be thinking to yourself, why can't I get everything? Like, so some of you may have a little bit of both. You might be like two placements here. So you have a little bit in rising and in moon, but you're thinking like, I hear what you're saying, Nicholas, but I want it faster. Well, maybe look in different places. Remember, there were different things that we talked about in today's reading. So it may not be immediately obvious. It may be here, but you're looking in the wrong direction. So this is telling you to pause, because Hanged Man, believe it or not, is actually everyone's friend. It's saying, if you take a moment to just digest and integrate, then you're going to be able to understand how to make this work. So it may come to you in a dream. It may come to you in a random conversation, or you're driving your car, you turn on the radio and someone's talking about something. You're like, oh, that's how I do it. You have to pause, get your bearings a little bit, and then things will kick off. So my main message for rising is everything in divine timing. This little pause or this hiccup or whatever is going on that's odd with the timing is good. It will ultimately be to your benefit, because something else will open up or some clarity will come in this moment in time, and you're going to be grateful that you didn't rush through it. And I'm sorry, we're actually not in rising, we're looking at moon. So again, for those of you looking in the moon sign, that's the main thing here, is to be patient with yourself. All right, so let me just let me review all three, since I had the wrong Chiron up for a second. So for Sun, Rising, and Moon, the Sun message is to believe in yourself, to trust your ability to manifest, to be ready for what it is that's coming your way, because you've worked hard to make this happen. In the Rising sign, it's all about discernment. You have what it takes to make something happen, but unfortunately for some of you, the timelines may be shifted a bit. We got a little bit of that overlap, which is probably why I put the other thing up for a second. So I would say that's for Moon, but it also kind of is there for Rising as well, which is saying, hey, I need to slow down. I need to take stock of what's going on and not freak out, because I trust that everything is going to happen in divine timing. All right? So those are your Sun, Rising, and Moon messages. Now let's look at what's coming up next here. I think this is one of the cooler parts here. We're going to meditate for a moment, and then we're going to look at a final card. This one is something that you can ask. You don't need to type it out. In fact, just think about it. What's a question that I haven't yet had a chance to look at for you? Scribble it down, or just hold it into your third eye for a moment. And we're going to meditate. I'm going to use the singing bowl, the new one that I have, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at that question. I want to help you with opening doors and really feeling like your luck, your day, your moment is coming. So let's imagine that you have this beautiful skeleton key, and in front of you is a golden door. And this door, you can actually see it's gold, it's fashioned of gold, and there's this beautiful stream of light that's coming through the keyhole and coming through the outline around the door. And then you can't quite see the wall or anything, it's just this focal point of the door. And in your hand, you're holding this skeleton key, and as you step towards that door and push the key through it, there's an immediate activation, almost like the magician. You can feel the energy come through your arms, come through your body, and immediately the door just disintegrates in front of you, and there is this brilliant, bright light that is wrapping all around you. In fact, it's almost as if you're standing in front of the sun. So take a moment here, connect to source energy. You basically walked into your higher self, your source energy. For each of you, you're going to get a different download. For some of you, there may be just this refilling, where you feel like for the first time in a while that the battery is recharged. So you can just sit here and feel like I am ready to relax, receive. And for those of you that don't visualize very well, just feel like you're letting stuff go and your heart is opening up and your solar plexus is blasted with light. Or you can just feel like it's starting to open or melt a little bit, so that there's none of that sharp pain that I was feeling earlier. For the rest of you, if you happen to be good at visualization, you could maybe see through the light something beckoning to you, and you could walk down the path until it comes into focus. Or you could just let this sort of solar energy come through and show you something within, okay? So I'm going to play the singing bowl, and I'll be back afterwards. It's going to take about a minute of me playing, and then we'll look at your final question. So just relax and allow for the light to come through and to heal. For those of you that maybe still have the key in your hands, I want you to imagine that as you're holding it up to the light now with the door completely gone, you can see the key starting to melt into your hand. Let's rub that energy of empowerment, kind of like absorb the key, understanding that you have always been that sort of hierophant energy of being able to be the gatekeeper to open the door, and then place that melted key energy right on the heart space and absorb it and say, I've always been the key. I don't need some physical object. I don't need some person in my life to tell me or show me the way. I am the wayfinder. I am the GPS. I am the key. And imagine that you're embodying and embracing that energy of opening up and manifesting what it is that you seek. Okay, now focus on whatever final question you have for me. I'm going to put this bowl to the side and we're going to take a look at the cards and see what the message is. Okay, hold the question in your mind. Speak it out loud if you need to. Let's see what the cards have to say. Interesting. Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords, and we have the little fox, which Apollo's under the chair right now, I think, but it reminds me a lot of Apollo. So, as a yes/no, the Seven of Swords is a not yet. The main reason that it would be a not yet is there is something that needs to be just uncovered a little bit more or explored or discovered. It could simply be, I don't trust myself. Because sometimes the Seven of Swords can be the little white lie that we tell ourselves, like, I'm ready for this, but you're not really ready for it just yet because you need to put a couple of more things into practice or into action. So internal accountability will be a big, important factor into manifesting or creating that which you seek. So you have to trust yourself and believe yourself. So as long as those things are absent, it's going to be challenging to create something. So that would be why there's a not yet. There could also be a big reveal happening for you. If I'm going to get the Seven of Swords, I want to get it reversed. So we did get it reversed, which is good. So this could mean that something happened and it changed your perspective. Someone said they were going to do something and didn't, or you caught someone not telling the complete truth, or you found something that you missed contractually or an agreement or something like that. Something comes to light and you need to deal with that first. So either getting really honest and transparent with yourself or dealing with something that was a surprise. And once that's dealt with, then you can move forward. But it does feel like there's just a little bit of mopping up work that has to happen first. One really good thing when I get this card is that nobody's going to be able to outfox you. The card is reversed, so you're going to see through illusions. You're going to see something before it happens, and you're going to decide, I'm not going to do that because it's not as good as it looks, or there's something coming through here historically where I know that that person tends to do this, this, or this, or I've read the reviews about this. So do your research, trust your intuition, avoid that Seven of Swords, or address that Seven of Swords if it's something that you have to deal with, and know that someone else can't get away with something. You're going to see through it. It's still a very empowering card, but when it comes to acting upon something, it's saying be very discerning and be very aware, and don't commit to more than you want to agree to. Okay? So there you go. That's your final card. They're not always yeses. Sometimes it's like a not yet, or it's like this, unpackage it a little bit more. So, but your whole reading otherwise today was amazing, I have to say. Really fun to read for you today, and I feel like you're on the precipice of some really big shifts and developments and openings in your life. So keep me posted in the comments and let me know how the month continues for you. If you like this, by the way, by all means, I don't bother you guys too much with this, but please hit the subscribe button. I'm close to a milestone, and I like to do something special whenever we hit one. So we're around, let's see where we're at, 323,000. So we're 2,000 away from getting to 325. So every quarter of 1,000, I like to do something special like a Q&A. And it's been a while since I did a Q&A. So I would love to do that. I'll open it up first to members and to Patreon supporters, and see how many questions I get from them. And then maybe I'll take a few when I do it live. But that's a chance for you to ask me questions about intuitive development, questions about me, questions about whatever, as long as it's pertinent to the larger group. And so yeah, let's hit that milestone together. I'd love to get there. And then maybe also I'll ask you some questions on what you're looking for. We'll have just a fun back and forth reading. All right. So with that being said, follow me on social media if you haven't already. It's a great way to know what I'm doing on what day. By the way, it's more important this month than ever to also hit the bell icon, because I'm not posting the full month. I am moving at some point this month, but it's still in flux. I'm manifesting all of this. So my dates are going to be a little bit more fluid. I'm trying to stick to the times and dates, but some days I may have to work earlier or later. So that's why I'm only releasing 2 or 3 at a time. It's not what I like to do, but it's what I have to do to make this move happen. And I'll fill you all in on that more later. If you'd like to show some support, you can do that in real time through stickers and chat and also memberships, and it's all available by clicking on that icon. And if you do follow me on any social media platform, always be safe and remember that I don't offer private readings and I don't use direct messages or even comments to solicit services. And there's a lot of people out there that do that. So I like to remind folks as much as possible. All right, let's move on to the gratitude portion of this reading. First of all, thanks to everybody. This might be your first time watching or your first time live. I saw that in the comments a couple of times. So it's good to see you. And hopefully I'll be back to my 9 a.m. Pacific time in a month. Well, I have to be. I will be out of this place. I don't know where I'm at yet because I'm waiting on some final applications. But I can tell you the time should be different next month. So back to normal times, hopefully. But thank you to everybody that's been patient and working with me as I've had to shift this for a long time. It's been kind of crazy, and I have I think some of the best fans and followers out there. So I appreciate you. All right, give me a moment here and I'm going to say welcome to the new members and thanks to anybody that happened to give a super sticker or super chat today. Let's begin with brand new members. All right, so today we have a few new ones here. Legacy Ninja, brand new, and so welcome to the channel. Marlene Toyama, also brand new, welcome. Amber Bridewell, welcome back, just rejoining after 7 months. Coco Love, brand new as well. Meg Marsh, brand new. And let's see here. I think that's it. Those are all the new ones. So thank you so much and welcome. One of the benefits of being a channel member is you get to vote on the polls. You get to ask Q&As. Hopefully, again, it feels like I should have that milestone by the end of next month. It depends. Each month, subscriber numbers kind of vary, but I think we can get there by next month, and that'd be awesome. All right. So, super stickers and super chat. Let's see who participated today. Kicking things off today, thank you to Brittany for I appreciate that. Monica, thank you as well. Isha Marie, thanks. Aphrodite Goddess 369 and Joy to the World. thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your love and support, and good luck. Good luck in making this a really great month ahead. And remember, ironically, that you create your own good luck. I really do believe that when we stop kind of looking for things to happen around us and start creating that internally, that's when the magic starts to happen. So do some great things this month. Keep me posted on what you're doing, and I'll see you tomorrow. For those of you that want to join, I'm live every Monday, Thursday, Friday, and also on Sundays. During the week, I do readings for the signs. So just looking at my schedule here, I'll be reading for Cancer tomorrow. And then on the weekend, 7-day collective, so everyone's welcome to that. And then next week, we'll be looking at Leo, Virgo, and Libra on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And again, I don't have my main schedule like I normally do, but you'll start to see them piecemealed out over the next couple of days. Okay, lots of love and light to all of you. Have a great day, and thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate all of you. Bye-bye.